Before the lights, the records, the championships, there was a quiet gym in Charlotte, North Carolina. A skinny teenager with an awkward shooting form stayed long after practice, launching three-pointer after three-pointer, his sneakers squeaking against the hardwood floor. Stephen Curry was not a prospect, not in the way scouts understood the term. He was undersized, under-recruited, and overshadowed. His name opened doors because of his father, Del Curry, a respected NBA veteran. But once inside, Stephen had to prove he deserved to be there. At Charlotte Christian School, he was known for his work ethic. Coaches admired his persistence, even if they quietly doubted his ceiling. Coach Montgomery, to an assistant, "He's got heart, but heart's not always enough at that level." Stephen heard it, he always did, and instead of arguing, he added more hours to his routine. While his friends went to the movies, he studied film. While others lifted weights, he focused on refining the one thing no one could quite teach: his release. His form wasn't textbook. It started too low, released too fast. But it worked for him. It was the foundation of a belief system no one else could see yet. Stephen, to his mom, Sonia, "I know I'm not built like them, but I think I see the game differently." Davidson College was the only Division I school to offer him a scholarship. The big programs weren't interested. Too small, too thin, not athletic enough. When he committed to Davidson, local reporters barely mentioned it. But Stephen didn't need headlines, he needed a chance. In his final high school game, he scored 30 points in a losing effort. As he walked off the court, sweaty and tired, a reporter asked, "Reporter, where do you go from here?" Stephen wiped his face and smiled. "Stephen, work. That's where I always go." The campus at Davidson College was serene. Red brick buildings surrounded by oaks, a place known more for academics than athletics. Stephen arrived without fanfare. No cameras, no press, just a freshman with a baby face carrying dreams that seemed too big for the gym he'd soon call home. Coach Bob McKillop saw something others didn't. A quiet fire behind Stephen's eyes. A way he moved, not just quick, but intentional, smart, efficient, and above all, fearless. Coach McKillop, to staff, "He's not here to blend in. He's here to change how we play." Stephen started slow. In his first few games, he struggled. Turnovers, missed shots, doubt creeping in. But he didn't panic. He adjusted. And then, it clicked. Game by game, Curry started to light up the scoreboard. His three-point shooting became uncontainable. Teams tried to trap him, double him, rattle him. But he kept finding space. Not just for shots, but for decisions. His IQ was as dangerous as his range. By mid-season, whispers turned to headlines. Who is this kid? Can Davidson dance? In March, then came the 2008 NCAA tournament. Davidson entered as a 10 seed. Expectations were modest. Their first opponent? Gonzaga, physical, disciplined, favored. Stephen dropped 40. Next came Georgetown, then Wisconsin. Blue Bloods, stunned by a team led by a kid who barely cracked 6 feet tall. America started watching. Highlights looped endlessly. Curry wasn't just scoring, he was controlling games. Suddenly, NBA scouts were scrambling to attend games they'd never planned to visit. Headlines screamed, "Baby-faced assassin." In the Elite Eight against Kansas, Curry fought with everything he had. Davidson lost by 2. But the game was transformative. The crowd gave a standing ovation. Curry didn't win a championship, but he had arrived. After the game, reporters swarmed. Reporter, "Steph, any regrets?" Stephen, "No, just grateful. But I'm not done yet." That summer, he had a choice: declare for the NBA draft or return for his junior year. He chose loyalty. One more season at Davidson. One more year to refine, to lead, to finish what he started. Stephen Curry's junior year at Davidson didn't end with another Cinderella run. But by then, the world already knew his name. He led the nation in scoring and proved he could play point guard full-time, a critical test for scouts. And now, He was ready. The 2009 NBA draft was stacked with talent. Blake Griffin, James Harden, Tyreke Evans, Ricky Rubio. Curry was projected to go mid to late lottery. Some analysts praised his shooting. Others questioned his size, his defense, his ability to translate. ESPN analyst: he's a great college player, but is he a franchise point guard? I'm not convinced. Back in Charlotte, Stephen was with his family. Dell, always composed, sat quietly. Sonia offered encouragement. His brother Seth looked on with a mix of awe and inspiration. As the picks rolled in, tension grew. Golden State had the 7th pick. They were a team in disarray. New coach, struggling record, fans growing impatient. Then it happened. NBA Commissioner David Stern. With the 7th pick in the 2009 NBA draft, the Golden State Warriors select Stephen Curry from Davidson College. The room erupted. Curry smiled wide, shook hands, and walked across the stage with that same steady calm that defined his game. He held the Warriors cap with both hands, fully aware that the real work had just begun. But behind the scenes, not everyone was celebrating. The Warriors' front office was divided. The roster was crowded with shoot-first guards. Trade rumors swirled. Some executives even considered using him as trade bait. Unnamed exec recorded later: "We weren't sure if we drafted a shooter or a system player." Stephen didn't respond publicly, but in practice he showed up early, stayed late, studied film, worked relentlessly with then-assistant coach Keith Smart, learning how to navigate the NBA's speed and physicality. That season he averaged 17.5 points and 5.9 assists as a rookie, quietly efficient, quietly electric. Still, he was overlooked for Rookie of the Year, finishing second to Tyreke Evans. No drama, no complaints, just the same quiet belief. One night, after a tough loss, a reporter asked, "Reporter, you still think you belong in this league?" Stephen, smiling, "I know I do. You'll see." By 2011, Stephen Curry had become a fan favorite in Oakland, not for dominance, but for potential. He was smooth, crafty, unselfish. But there was a problem: his right ankle. What began as a few sprains soon became a pattern. In and out of the lineup, Curry's progress stalled. He missed 40 games in the 2011-12 season. Fans grew restless. The media questioned his durability. Behind the scenes, some team executives wondered if they'd made a mistake. Critic on talk radio: "Great shooter, but he can't stay healthy. You can't build a franchise on that." Curry heard it all, and he felt it. The frustration of training hard only to be sidelined again. The emotional toll of rehabbing, pushing, then rolling his ankle days later. His confidence, so naturally rooted, began to shake. In a team meeting, he asked himself aloud, "Stephen, what if my body won't let me be who I'm supposed to be?" The Warriors, trying to protect their investment, offered him a 4-year extension, $44 million. It was modest by star standards, a prove-it contract. Curry signed it, grateful but aware of what it really meant. Stephen, to a friend: "They don't believe in me yet, but I do. That's enough." The summer of 2012 became his turning point. He hired new trainers, changed his diet, rebuilt his body from the ground up. More balance, stronger core, better ankle support. No shortcuts, no noise, just work. Coach Mark Jackson, now head coach, backed him publicly. "Jackson, I've got the best shooting backcourt in NBA history." At the time it sounded like hype, but Curry, paired with Klay Thompson, began to show flashes of what would become legendary. They had a name: the Splash Brothers. In the 2012-13 season, Curry played 78 games. He averaged 22.9 points, broke the single-season three-point record 272, and led the Warriors to the playoffs for the first time in 6 years. In the postseason, he torched the Denver Nuggets, hit threes from 30 feet, controlled games with precision. The league noticed. Fans exploded. Steph had arrived, finally healthy, fully formed. But more than the numbers, it was the way he played. Effortless range, controlled pace, joy. After Game 4 in Denver, a reporter asked, "Reporter, do you think the league underestimated you?" "Stephen, they still do, and that's fine. Let them." By the start of the 2013-14 season, the IG buzz around Stephen Curry was impossible to ignore. He was healthy, he was dangerous, and more than that, he was changing the game. Opponents started pressing him 30 feet from the basket. Coaches redesigned defenses just to slow him down. Analysts debated whether his style could really win titles. But fans were in love. Curry's blend of humility and brilliance made him relatable, even as he did things no one had ever seen before. Still, the Warriors weren't ready yet. They made the playoffs but lost in the first round to the Clippers, a brutal 7-game battle that tested everyone. Behind the scenes, a seismic shift was coming. In May 2014, the Warriors fired Mark Jackson. It was a controversial move. Jackson had turned the team around culturally and helped build Steph's confidence. But management wanted something different. They hired Steve Kerr, a former player with no head coaching experience. Curry could have resisted. Instead, he listened. Kerr came in with a bold vision. More ball movement, more spacing, more trust in Steph off the ball. At first it was uncomfortable. Kerr pushed Curry to shoot more, to move more, to give up the ball and get it back in better spots. Kerr to Steph, "You can dominate without dribbling 30 times. Trust the system. It's built around you." That fall, something clicked. The Warriors started the 2014-15 season on fire. Curry was surgical, scoring from deep, setting up teammates, leading with calm authority. The team won 67 games. Curry won MVP. And the Warriors marched through the playoffs with a sense of destiny. In the finals, they faced LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers. It was a war, physical, mental, emotional. But Steph stayed steady. In Game 5, with the series tied, he hit dagger threes, blew past defenders, and silenced doubters, once and for all. On June 16, 2015, the Warriors won the NBA championship. Confetti fell. Steph lifted the trophy, surrounded by teammates, by family. His daughter Riley stole the press conference spotlight. The world didn't just see a champion, they saw a man of grace. Stephen to the crowd, "I'm just blessed to be standing here. All glory to God. This is bigger than me." From overlooked recruit to NBA champion and MVP, Stephen Curry had rewritten what it meant to be a superstar. But he was only getting started. By the 2015-16 season, Stephen Curry was no longer a surprise. He was the standard. But no one, not even his biggest supporters, were ready for what was about to happen. From opening night, Curry played like he had hacked basketball. He was faster, sharper, and somehow more confident. His shot release was quicker. His range now extended, past 30 feet as if it were normal. Defenders stood stunned. Commentators ran out of superlatives. In the first game of the season, he dropped 40 points, then 53 against the Pelicans. By mid-season, he had hit multiple game winners, including a 38-foot buzzer beater in Oklahoma City that left the crowd gasping and teammates speechless. Replays of that shot circled the globe. Social media melted. The league had never seen anything like him. Steve Kerr, after the shot, "I don't think anyone in the history of basketball has done what Steph is doing, ever." The Warriors won 24 straight games to start the season. Steph was averaging over 30 points per game while sitting most fourth quarters. By April, they had broken the seemingly untouchable record, 73 wins in a single season, surpassing Michael Jordan's 1996 Bulls. Curry became the first unanimous MVP in NBA history. But the playoffs were a different beast. The Warriors fought through injuries and exhaustion. Curry sprained his knee in the first round, returned limping, and still dropped 40 in a must-win game against Portland. They clawed through a brutal series against the Thunder, coming back from a 3-1 deficit, thanks in part to Klay Thompson's legendary Game 6 and Curry's relentless poise. Then came the finals rematch, Warriors versus Cavaliers. It was a storybook collision. The Warriors took a 3-1 lead, poised to cap off the greatest season ever with a second straight title. But then, momentum shifted. Draymond Green was suspended. LeBron James activated another level. Kyrie Irving hit an ice-cold dagger in Game 7. The Warriors lost. The greatest regular season of all time ended in heartbreak. After the final buzzer, Curry sat on the bench, towel over his head. He had given everything, but it wasn't enough. Stephen, post-game, "This one hurts, but we'll be back, stronger." And the world believed him. The pain of the 2016 finals loss haunted the Warriors. For Stephen Curry, it wasn't just a missed opportunity, it was a lesson. Greatness isn't just built on talent or stats, it's built on resilience. That summer, the Warriors made a move that would shake the league. They signed Kevin Durant. Critics called it unfair. Some said Curry was giving up the spotlight. But for Steph, it wasn't about ego. It was about legacy. Stephen, to Durant during recruitment, "We'll share everything, the spotlight, the blame, the wins. We just want to win the right way." With Durant on board, the Warriors became a juggernaut. Curry adjusted seamlessly. He deferred when needed, led when required, and never wavered in his belief that sacrifice was a part of leadership. The 2016-17 season was surgical. Steph still averaged nearly 26 points per game, but the offense flowed like jazz. Durant thrived. Klay hit daggers. Draymond orchestrated defense. And through it all, Curry remained the gravity center, the threat that bent the floor, that terrified defenders even without the ball. In the playoffs, the Warriors stormed through the competition, 12-0 before the finals. They met LeBron and the Cavs again, but this time there was no doubt. Steph averaged 26.8 points, 9.4 assists, and 8 rebounds per game in the finals. The Warriors won in 5. Stephen lifted his second title. He didn't win Finals MVP, Durant did, but there was no bitterness, no tension. Steph, on the podium. It's about the team, always has been. The following season, the dominance continued. Another ring, more dazzling plays. Curry's influence became so complete that young players began modeling their games after him, not just shooting threes, but how he moved, thought, led. He was a cultural shift, but he never stopped evolving. He improved his handles, his finishing, his strength. In a league of rising stars and shifting loyalties, Curry remained constant, loyal to the Bay, to his teammates, and to his values. He became a 2-time MVP, 3-time champion, and the face of a dynasty. And yet, he was still described by one word more than any other: humble. By 2019, the dynasty felt untouchable, until it wasn't. The Warriors made their 5th consecutive finals appearance, but it came at a cost. Injuries piled up. Kevin Durant tore his Achilles. Klay Thompson tore his ACL. Suddenly, the team that seemed destined for a three-peat was unraveling before the world's eyes. Through it all, Stephen Curry remained on the court, carrying more weight, facing double teams, giving everything he had. In Game 6 of the finals against Toronto, he took the final shot, down 3 seconds left. The ball hit the rim, bounced once, and fell out. Game over, season over, dynasty over, many thought so. That offseason, Durant left for Brooklyn. Klay was rehabbing. The Warriors entered the 2019-20 season depleted. In the 4th game, Steph broke his hand. He would miss most of the season. For the first time in nearly a decade, the Warriors were irrelevant. But Curry wasn't done. He rehabbed relentlessly, returned late in the season with no playoff hopes, yet played with full intensity. Even when the crowd was quiet, even when the standings didn't matter, he showed up. Steph, post-game. Legacy isn't built in the easy years. It's how you lead when no one's watching. In 2020-21, Curry came back with fire. No Durant, no Klay, just Steph and a roster of young players. And he lit up the league, averaging over 32 points per game, winning the scoring title at age 33, the oldest to do it since Jordan. He had evolved again, smarter, stronger, more lethal. The Warriors missed the playoffs after 2 tough play-in losses, but everyone knew Curry was far from finished. He had reminded the league who he was even without a super team behind him, and young players across the league watched with reverence. Damian Lillard, Steph's the one. He changed everything for all of us. Back in the Bay, fans never lost faith. The jerseys still sold. The arenas still buzzed. Because if Steph was still on the court, anything was possible. Entering the 2021-22 season, the Warriors were no longer the favorites. Media outlets had moved on to younger dynasties. Many wondered if Steph's best days were behind him. He had other plans. Klay Thompson was finally returning after 2 years of injury. Draymond Green remained the emotional heartbeat. And Curry? He was still Curry, only more focused, more poised, and more determined than ever. From opening night, it was clear the Warriors were back. Steph opened the season with triple-doubles, deep threes, and a new record in sight, the all-time leader in three-pointers made. On December 14, 2021, at Madison Square Garden, Steph hit the shot that surpassed Ray Allen's record. The game, the crowd erupted, players hugged him. Ray Allen and Reggie Miller were there to honor him. Steph, after the shot, "I never dreamed this big. I just worked." The Warriors secured the 3rd seed. Playoff time arrived, and so did the old Warriors magic. In the playoffs, Steph was masterful. He led with precision, crushed Denver, then Memphis. In the Western Conference Finals, they dismantled Dallas. Every game, he reminded the world that his reign wasn't nostalgia. It was now. The finals brought a new opponent, the Boston Celtics. Younger, hungry, physical. After a Game 1 loss and a gritty Game 3 defeat in Boston, many doubted the Warriors again. But in Game 4, down 2-1, Steph delivered one of the greatest performances of his career. 43 points, carrying the team, silencing TD Garden. Steve Kerr, that was the heart of a champion. The Warriors won the series in 6. Stephen Curry, after 3 previous titles without a Finals MVP, finally claimed it. He dropped to his knees in tears as the buzzer sounded. This wasn't just another title. This was his title, his leadership, his resilience, his redemption. In the post-game interview, a reporter asked, "Reporter, what does this one mean, Steph?" Curry, tears in his eyes, "It means everything. Everything." He wasn't just the face of the Warriors. He was now etched into the stone of basketball. Immortality. Stephen Curry's legacy isn't just about championships, MVPs, or records. It's about transformation of a franchise, a sport, and the way millions view possibility. As the years passed after his 4th title, Curry continued to lead the Warriors with grace. He still dazzled, deep threes, clutch shots, slick passes, but his game now spoke louder in subtler ways. Leadership, mentorship, vision. He took younger players under his wing. Jordan Poole, Jonathan Kuminga, Moses Moody, all learned not just how to play from Steph, but how to carry themselves. No shortcuts, no excuses. Off the court, his influence expanded. His eat, learn, play foundation impacted thousands of children across the U.S., feeding, educating, and inspiring underserved communities. He produced documentaries, wrote a memoir, and launched ventures to empower athletes to tell their own stories. But through it all, he remained grounded. Steph, in an interview, "I know where I started, and I never want to forget that. This is still about joy, about faith, about the work." His relationship with the Bay Area grew deeper. To fans, he wasn't just a player, he was family. Kids mimicked his shot. Adults wore his jersey with pride. He was the link between generations. In 2025, at age 37, Steph passed 25,000 career points. The crowd in Chase Center gave him a standing ovation that lasted minutes. He waved, smiled, and placed a hand over his heart. Steve Kerr. He's the greatest Warrior of all time. But more than that, he's one of the greatest people this game has ever seen. When his final season eventually arrives, there will be no need for a farewell tour. Curry's influence is already eternal. He didn't just change the game, he freed it. He gave permission for kids to believe that greatness doesn't have to come with brute force or towering height. That touch, IQ, and work ethic could be just as dominant. That being kind, grounded, faithful, that being yourself wasn't a weakness but a superpower. And when the time comes, when the jersey is lifted into the rafters and his statue is unveiled outside Chase Center, the plaque might read, Stephen Curry, the game changer. But those who watched, who felt it in real time, will know he was never just about the game. He was about believing